Still long little pimp. No, I'm talking about bitch. It's still free young pimp. Unfortunately. Smoke some bitch, gripping on the wood, falling in the sling. This is not a song, my nigga, it's a chain. Play us from the side, still popping now. Gripping on the wood, falling in the sling. This is not a song, my nigga, it's a chain. Play us from the side, still popping now. My brother Tony Snow, you should know that, bitch. Boy, I think I ought to get. I ain't about to stop shit. Shit, my Cadillac, full tank of gas. White bitch with fat ass. Bitch knows that I mean good, that's why I get all the cash. Standing off my paper route, I don't need no fucking clout. Niggas know that I'm really true. I tell them what the fuck you buy. I'm about getting paper. Breaking up to take that risk. Jump up in that shot, water ain't come backwards the way your fish. Sliding off in that photo, y'all. Flag me down, that's a no. I just might pull your hoe and pull up to that no. What you got? I got a cocoa, a yellow girl in a big snow. Don't make me no never mind. Get up back the finish. I stay up on them baddest in them trio via thongs. But I see a fine time to make these country ass songs. I'm ripping for a home. That's that PA to the T. Boys, all I know by now that they can't fuck with easily. Hey, ripping on the wood, balling in the sling. My nigga, it's a change. Play us from the side, still popping now. My ripping on the wood, falling in the sling. This is not a song, my nigga, it's a change. Play us from the side, still popping now. I'm in the Texas gang, spit GK, nigga. I said, ain't no stopping me, knocking me through the doors, no blocking me, locking me, them hoes steady cocking me. Body up, niggas be watching me, all through. And my trio lows, my trio head, and my trio team. Ain't shit a nigga can tell me, I'm too damn official. So for sure, and this I know, don't make me blow dismissal. Boys from the side, still popping out. Hey nigga, you owing ball, that's your own damn fault. I'm reaching in the ball, pulling out them bundles. 10, 20, some 52s. The motherfucking hundreds. Yeah. I can't wait to get out the side. Legs up, I'm a power spot. Not get on top, I'ma let you ride. So break out a dripping juice. Biting breath, I ain't turning loose. In the bed or in my car. Say bitch, what you rolling? Gripping on the wood, falling in the sling. This is not a song, my nigga, it's a chant. Play us from the side. Still popping now. Ow. Big ass diamonds off in their mouth. Yeah. Slang. A chant. Yeah, man, if you haven't went got that record, man, you need to do so. You need to hit the Bandcamp link and go get that record now, man. We got a lot of great things popping in Trio 1023, man. All you got to do is tie in and keep it Trio, and everything gonna be gravy, baby. But tonight, man, we got a player coming through here. I'm talking about coming from Cali, man, all the way from Cali, man. He on a time crunch because he got some things to do, but he gonna come lend some of his time, chop up some of his story, but he will be back. We will be doing this thing, man. I'm talking about Russell the Magnificent. Let me see if he in the building. We're gonna get straight to it, man. Let me see if he in the building. Okay, I see my nigga backstage. I hope he could hear me. I hope the volume good. I'm gonna go and bring him in. Let me see.
Yes.
OG, can you hear me?
Hey, man, it's good to see you, man.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can't hear you. Nah, fool with your mic or something.
Can you hear me now?
Go in your audio and fool with your mic. Let me see. Let me see what's going on.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, damn it, man.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can't hear you. Damn it. Let me see. What could we do? What could we do? Let me put it in the chat.
Can you hear me now?
Do you have some headphones in or something?
Yeah.
Maybe take them out. Maybe
All
take them
right.
out.
How about now?
Let
Can
me
you hear
see.
me
I
now?
can hear both of y'all. Okay. Marcus Payne said he can hear both of us. Maybe it's me. Let me see. So y'all can hear both of us. Let
Can you
me
hear?
try something. It might be me. It might be me with this new little dumbass microphone I got. Hold on. Hold on. Now.
I can hear you.
Oh man. My bad. That's me trying my new little dumbass microphone. My nigga, man. Welcome to the Triocast. How you feeling, man?
Absolutely. Doing good, man. Doing good. Glad to be with you, man.
Already. I know you got some other things going on, and I appreciate your time. But if you allow me, man, we're gonna get into your story. But go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Russell the Magnificent. You know, I'm a special needs barber, but you know, I was in the penitentiary for a long time, and so I like to think that we like the most therapized Negroes in the whole wide world. So people, that's the untold story about the mass incarceration. You know, they spend millions of dollars providing therapy. And so a lot of us, when we came home, we were just unable to just sit back and watch people just, you know, self-destruct without making some effort to provide some relief, you know, to what we saw what was happening, you know.
And you went to prison back in what days?
In 1990.
1990.
That's right.
Okay, we're gonna get into it. So where are you from and where did you grow up?
Well, I'm originally from right here in Long Beach, California, and then I went to my mother and me moved to Honolulu when I was 12, and so I went from seventh grade to the University of Hawaii, and then I moved back to California after 2 years of college, and got caught up, and it was all bad from there. I went to the pen for 20 years.
Okay, so you grew up in Long Beach all the way up until age 12.
Yes.
Then you went to Honolulu to age 14 or?
No, age 20.
Okay, so at 20, you came back to Long Beach. So when you
That's
came
right.
back to Long Beach, age 12, then moving to Honolulu, age 20, how was the childhood in both times? 1 to 12, you know, 12 to 20.
Well, when we moved to Honolulu when I was 12 years old, it was very interesting because it was the same time Barack Obama was there at the same time. And so he and I were on the island and we went to school right down the street from each other. But it was a very interesting time because it was a time period where it was in Honolulu. I don't know if you know it, but they have what they call the Multicultural Pedagogical Foundation to education. In other words, they don't go by white and black in Hawaii. So the Hawaiian kingdom is a bit different than the mainland in terms of how they educate and how they view people. So you go by culture in Hawaii. And so that was different for me. You know, the idea that I could be something other than black was crazy to me. I mean, you know, that we had just been raised with black and white and those were real. But when you got to Hawaii, when I got to Hawaii in public school, they didn't play that. They want to know, the kids would tell you 4 or 5 different things they was mixed with. I'm this, and this, and not one of them was a body color. Everything was culture. So that was different. And so that then I went to the university, of course, and got exposed to, you know, universal academia. I wasn't to be exposed to universal academia again until I went to the penitentiary. But yes, that was a very interesting experience, Hawaii was.
So basically the childhood was pretty good.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Wonderful childhood. Wonderful, wonderful. I can't, I was no trouble at all. Listen, the thing about me, when I went to the pen, I was such a square. I was calling all the Bloods, blood, and all the Crips, cuz on the yard, man. I didn't know. I'm like, hey, blood, how you doing? Hey, cuz. Somebody finally pulled me inside and said, hey, man, do you gangbang? I'm like, oh, no, not at all. He said, well, why are you saying blood and cuz? I said, well, you're a blood, aren't you? He said, oh, no, let me explain, man. Don't work that way. So, you got to know, I was the nicest kid. I was listen, man, my first fight in the penitentiary
Hold
was
on, hold on, man.
yeah, I'm just telling you, I was a
Hold
square,
on,
my
nigga.
brother. I
Nigga, you
was
trying
a,
to drive a Ferrari. Hold on.
I want you to
I'm
know
from
though,
Texas, nigga. We ride Cadillac. Slow down.
yeah, I was a total square, total square. The childhood was wonderful. No trouble, no nothing, man.
So
Yeah.
was it a single parent household or
Yes, my mother and me.
okay.
And she went on vacation to Hawaii and she loved it. And she came home and said, "You want to move to Hawaii?" I said, "Yeah." It seemed like a few days later we was gone.
No
And
sibling?
so, no, well, I have siblings, but I was the only child that my mother raised.
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
was she strict or was she letting you run freely?
My mother was a strict disciplinarian, but when we moved to Honolulu, things changed a bit because the environment was completely different. So the kinds of things that she would be concerned about did not exist there. So I was pretty free to do what I wanted to do because nobody was doing nothing, no way.
Were you into sports?
Yes, I was a basketball player. I played high school basketball, and at Pearl City High School, I went to a high school that was sits on a mountaintop overlooking Pearl Harbor, and it's called Pearl City High School, and it was
Pearl City High School.
Pearl City High, beautiful high school in Hawaii on the island of Oahu, and
Huh.
that was just an extraordinary experience, man. I mean, I can't say enough about the Hawaiian Kingdom. Those of us in the know don't just call it Hawaii or the state of Hawaii. We call it the Hawaiian Kingdom. And but
You,
it was an
you still
extraordinary.
have ties back there?
Well, I'm sure I have some people that I still know, but I don't really stay in touch. When I went to prison all those years, I mean, I lost contact with most everybody, not just the people in Hawaii, but even people out here.
I get it. I get it. Okay, so seemed like everything was gravy, you know what I'm saying, up until
Mm.
20. So when did things turn for the worse?
Well, we had an epidemic in my neighborhood. We had a crack cocaine epidemic in my neighborhood, and it was all bad. And people were trying this new drug that they had, and everybody wanted to know what the hype was, and so people were trying this new drug, but this new drug was not the kind of thing that everybody could just try. And I came to understand later on that I have an addictive personality, so I can't eat just one cookie or one donut. I'm gonna eat it till the cookies is gone, until the donuts is gone. That was the same way I was with crack cocaine, and it was all bad. And it didn't take long. It didn't take long. In a matter of 6 months, I was doing robberies and some more shit. So it was, you know, it
So
didn't take long.
before you were introduced to that epidemic, did
Mm.
you smoke weed? Did you drink?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. The regular stuff. I did the regular stuff. And you know that kind of thing. But it wasn't nothing that would take a person out or cause a person's personality to change to such an extent that they would do, just absolutely crazy things. And
Do you
so
remember when you had your first encounter, like how you got turned on to it?
yeah, it's like most of us, it was with friends and family, and they were doing it. And like one person tried to tell me not to. He would say, nah, this ain't weed. A close family member. He was, no, this is not weed. But I caught him at a vulnerable moment one time, and I was like, look, man, if you let me do it, man, I'll buy you one, man. And that was all it needed, right? So it was the kind of drug that made people extremely vulnerable. uh, you know, in our neighborhood, at least, I'm from Long Beach. In our neighborhood, the handyman used to go down the street putting padlocks on the refrigerators of people's houses. We had the handyman used to come and put deadbolts on grandmama dough and everything in our neighborhood. It was real bad. So yeah.
Hey, let me commend you and salute you for owning your truth and speaking about that. I respect that, brother.
Oh
So,
yeah.
so Was it any gangs in your environment, in your hood?
Oh yeah, yeah. But there were no blood. There are no bloods in Long Beach. There are no blood gang sets in Long Beach, and so Long Beach was is strictly Crips. But to this people, it's not the nature of gang banging. It's not quite what it was when I went to prison. It was just different. People have family members and relatives from different gangs, and so it's you might have a personal beef with an individual these days, but everybody is so mixed up, especially here in the county of Los Angeles. People are family. People know each other. The mom and them know each other and stuff like that. And so, we're things change over time, man. I think things evolve. But yeah, the gang culture was here, but I never got involved with any of the, anything like that. I was just, a square kid who got, hooked on drugs.
So when you got hooked on the drugs, did that start to bring you in the midst of a bad crowd, or how did that all happen for you to
No,
wind up getting in trouble?
it wasn't that. It was the activities that one would engage in to get the drug. That was the problem. That was what was sending a bunch of people to prison. It wasn't the fact that they were smoking crack cocaine. It was what they was doing to get the crack cocaine. Listen, let me tell you something. In 1988, I voted for more prisons and more police and everything else because I got held up by a crack addict, right? That was before I tried it. And and I got held up at my job. And I voted for Jesse Jackson in 1988, right along with more prisons and more police. And I didn't realize I was going to end up being in the prison that I voted for, but I sure was in that pretty motherfucker. Yeah.
Damn it, man. So you're trying to feed your need, and you
Mm-hmm.
you
Oh,
wind
yeah.
up getting in some trouble. Can you
Oh,
tell me
yeah.
something about your trouble that got you sent up?
Yeah, but without going into too much detail, because I'm still in this neighborhood and I don't like to dig up other people's pain. I'm sensitive to other people's pain and other people's trauma. That was very traumatic. The events that occurred were very traumatic. But I will tell you that I was a part of um, a group of people who were committing robbery. We were committing robberies, and I was um, um, a figure in our community. These were juveniles. I was a figure in our community that I was looked up to. I was admired. People loved me. I was a nice kid. I worked at the park. I volunteered at the park. I did wonderful things. I was a Christian and all that. Just a wonderful young man, right? And then I got hooked. And so, as it was in many communities, when the stalwart individuals or the people that people looked up to, they went down, they took people down with them in some cases. I was in prison with a person, they was in prison, everybody, the coach and his entire little league team was in prison
Damn
for,
it.
for different things, but we had a football league and he started coaching them the way he did when they was kids. And we was all in the yard together and we was all there together. Right.
Okay, so
So yeah, it was like
without
that.
getting into the detail, you wind up getting in some heavy trouble,
Yeah.
and you received a life sentence.
Yes, yes. So I got 15 years to life uh, in prison, and at that time, of course, whether you have 5 to life or 50 to life, you wasn't going nowhere. Now I don't know if you know about the Willie Horton case, but the Willie Horton case was when they let a dude out of jail on a furlough, and he killed some people in Massachusetts, and they cost Mike Dukakis his job. So at that point, all governors who had the power to not release people who had life sentences, they would never release anybody because they want to be wanted to be the president someday, and they didn't want that to come back to bite them. So they wasn't letting lifers go home for 30 years. Lifers didn't go home, and so that went right into the whole mass incarceration thing because they came with the 3 strikes, and it was like, well, shoot, we got these dudes for life, and so it was yeah.
So when you initially caught the charge or whatever, and they were looking for you, did you
Mm.
turn yourself in, or did they have?
Oh no, no. I mean, I will tell you this, man. Looking back on it, you can tell when people watching you. I could tell that I was being surveilled, but I was so sad. I was so sad because it was like 30 days before they actually arrested all of us, and And I just remember thinking to myself, wow, you know, you had so much hope and so much promise in your life. And you know they're going to catch up with you. You know, my friends began avoiding me, people who knew what I had done, because it was 30 days before, you know, they caught up with all of us. They were surveilling us, but it was about 30 days before they caught up with us. And in that period of time, I remember I would go down to the ocean and just look over at the Queen Mary and be thinking to myself, wow, man, all this is gone, man. All this is gone. What happened to you? What happened to you? Right. And I was just so, it was so tragic, man. I was just so sad. And when they finally arrested me, man, it was a relief. I was relieved. I was
Where
relieved.
did they catch you at, or where were you?
I came out to my car and they rushed me. Don't move. I'm like, oh, don't worry. Don't worry.
I'm cool.
No, that's right. Don't worry. You know, and so it was all bad from there, man. But it was, I'll tell you this, the officers, the homicide detectives were so fast. They're not fascinated. They were just intrigued by the case. They, on the way back, because they let me go to the penitentiary too early. They still had not closed out the case. So they made the
Come on.
homicide detectives come back and get me. So on the way back, they bought me a beer. I never would forget it. The dude said, "You want to?" These is homicide detectives. You know, they don't see things the way other police see. They don't do traffic tickets. You know, they thing is you die, we fly. So the dude said to me, he said, "We got some questions for you." The case was over and I was already, but they got to take me down from Long Beach to San Diego. And he said, "You want a beer?" You know, I'm like, "Nah, man, don't play with me like that." He said, "No, I'm serious. You want an 8 ball? Because this is gonna be your last beer for a long
A
time."
40?
No, he bought me a tall can of 800.
Okay.
Hey, oh, you know you up on that old English 800, don't you?
Man, I
Let me
didn't drink so much of that shit.
let me tell you something. The police had me under such close surveillance that they even knew what kind of beer I drank. They knew. The dude said, "You want an 8 ball?"
Eight
And I
balls.
said, "Man, don't play with me." Like he said, "No, I'm serious because it's gonna be your last beer for a long time." And he bought me a beer, and they put me. They said, "Don't open until you get on the freeway." And we was on the freeway. I opened the beer. They handcuffed me in the front, and they said, "We have some questions for you." And I said, "Okay." And he said, "What happened to you?" We said, "Listen, we know everybody else in this case. We got information on them, but we want to know what happened to you. How did you get involved with this? You don't have a record. We didn't even believe it was you." And I told them what happened, and they looked at each other and said, "We knew it. We knew it. We knew it." And
So
yeah,
the court proceedings, it seemed like that happened pretty fast, but
yeah,
did you have a court appointed attorney, or did
yeah,
you have a paid
yeah,
attorney?
yeah. I had a court appointment, and their thing was, look, uh, you was part of a felony. In those days, they had what they call the felony murder rule. They've since changed it, but if you was a part of a crime and somebody died, then you get the same thing that the person who did it get, right? So you get murder too. No accessory to murder, you get murder. And so that's what they charged me with. And so I took a deal for 15 years to life, right? Because I could have gotten, it was a robbery. So I could have gotten life without, or 25 years to life is what it actually carries. But the homicide detective told me, on the way back, he said, the reason why we did not go for 25 years to life on you is because we knew something. That's why we have these questions for you. We told the prosecutor that this is not what we wanted. We're not looking for the death penalty. We're not looking for first degree on this guy. You know, something happened to this guy. And so people who do that kind of work could tell that this was an anomaly in this person's life. And so people dealt with me differently, as I even in the penitentiary, people dealt with me differently based on that.
So you go from court, you get your sentence, and do you remember how you were feeling when they told you, boom, 15 to life?
Yeah, yeah. Because he looked at me with a snarl, right?
Uh-huh.
The judge looked at me with a snarl. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, man, wow, how in the world did I get in the point in life where this dude snarling at me with this face and telling me 15 years to life. And then he started talking shit like, yeah, and if you ever get out, you're gonna be on parole for the rest of your life. And if you ever get out and all that old shit. Yeah.
So you go to the county. Which county is it when you go?
LA County. LA
Come on,
County.
man.
That's right. That's right. And it was very rough. Um, it was very violent. the thing about the county is that it was everybody is there. Sometimes people will take a deal just to get out the county, man. They'll take a deal just to just because they don't want to be in the county and bust at 4 o'clock in the morning and all that shit. And at that time, the LA County Jail was I don't know what it is now, but the police was the biggest gang in the county. And that blew my mind because you had these big old gang bang, tough dudes and everything else. But when the police said get against the wall, these big old niggas got against the wall and cooperated with the authorities like it wasn't shit. But now they was big shit all up in the tank and shit. You know, I found that fascinating because, again, I was a college student, man. I intellectualized the entire experience. You know what I'm saying? This wasn't my life, you know. I put everything in an intellectual perspective, and it was like going back in slavery, man. You know, these dudes kissing up to the police. I'm like, damn, that's how niggas used to get down with massa, man. You know, and so it was very interesting. Being in the county jail was just an extraordinary, I couldn't wait to get up out of there. But I wasn't there long, man. I took a deal. They gave me a forthwith. They was kind to me in court. They were like, get him up out of here. Just get this dude to the penitentiary. Let him do his time. And so they got me out of there. And like I said, they had to come back and get me to testify in court for my, because I took responsibility for everything. You know, I didn't want the people that were involved to, as much as I could mitigate, their culpability, and that's what I wanted to do. And so I did that. I didn't go tell on them. I went to say, tell them, because I took a deal right away. I felt so bad, man. I felt so awful. I really, really did, because I had descended from a long, long way. So I was really trying to minimize their pain. But they came and got me, and they were kind to me. They got me out of there real quick, faster than they should have, as it turns out. But yeah.
You spent how much time in LA County?
Maybe about a month and a half. Wasn't too long. It wasn't too long.
Did you have to scrap any while you was in there?
Nah, I didn't have to. I didn't have a fight until I got to the penitentiary. Right. I didn't have a fight till I got to the
LA County, man. You
but see, this how it go. But this how it go. But this how it go. It's about where you from. So I'm from Long Beach. So you can't just do something to somebody in the county and think that it's going to be all good. It's not like that. It's not. Everybody go by city. We don't even care if he a sucker. He's our sucker. He a buster, but he's our buster. So you can't do nothing to him because you make us look bad. You make all of us look bad if we let you get away with something like that. So that's what kept people at bay. You what you think? You finna just do something? You from somewhere else and you just finna victimize a nigga from Long Beach? No, nigga, you make us look bad. We related to this nigga in some kind of way. And so but nobody did it to other people either. So, I don't know how it is in other places, but here it's repercussions and consequences for thinking about, even talking about doing something to somebody from like them dudes from Watts. Man, you're not finna do nothing to them dudes from Watts, man. Ain't nobody finna do nothing to them dudes from Watts, man.
Say homie.
Yeah, homie. But look, let me tell you something. Can I tell you something interesting? You'll find this interesting, man. The penitentiary was like I said, I intellectualized the whole thing. You could have been a reputable dude on the street with money, bitches, all that, everything. Everybody look up to you and all that. But really on the inside, you a weenie. When you get to that level 4, we finna find that shit out. We finna see that shit. We finna find out. Ain't no use in you trying to hide that shit because it's mano y mano and force of character cannot lie. We're gonna see what kind of man you are. So it's once you learn to take the measure of a man, you never forget how to do that shit. You never give a fuck what he got because you understand you still a buster, you still a weenie, you still a sucker. You just a sucker with money, And so, but when I got to prison, I was a square. I never had a fight before in my life, man. I'm trying to tell you, man. I used to get ran home from everywhere. Get ran home from church, from school, from everybody, from little boys, little girls, everybody ran me. I knew all the fastest routes to my house. And when I got to the pen, it was the first fight I ever had in my life. And so I'm letting you know it was, and then from that point forward, something came out in me. You could have been a sucker on the street, but really a hero on the inside. When you get to that level 4, that shit coming out. Okay, that's what happened to
me. They send you to the yard. They send you to the prison. What did they send you?
Down to San Diego. So I was at the brand new prison that I had voted for. Yeah, I was there.
What was it called?
Donovan
prison in San Diego.
RJ Donovan. Yeah.
So you get off the bus with the other new inmates or transfers.
Yeah.
They bring you to this, what it is, an intake or what it
Yeah,
is, walk me
yeah.
through it.
Yeah. And it was interesting because, you know, again, people find out where people are from. And so I saw a guy from Long Beach and I was like, hey, man, you know, he was like, yeah, I know you and woo, this and the other. And you know, this and I'm like, yeah. So we started talking. And then he pointed out, he said, man, them dudes right there are Bloods. I said, where? He said, right there. I'm like, wow, real blood. Now, I had never seen a blood before in my life, man. I'm like, God damn. That was like, man, I read one dude seemed kind of cool. I said, hey, man, are you a blood, man? He was like, yeah. I'm like, oh, good to meet you, man. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you, blood.
I'm trying to tell you, I was, man. And then I figured, you know, I was a nice guy, right? So I'm like, you know, I'm just going to be very nice to everybody here and everything's going to be all right. You know, people respond to kindness and all that good shit, right? Well, yeah, I got acclimated real quick, man, real quick.
So when you got there, it's a thing in Texas prisons that I hear about because I got a lot of people I know, close relatives, so forth and so on. Supposedly when they get off the bus, they get this thing called a heart check to see where they heart at, to see if they're gonna stay down with their race or they're gonna be a whole ass nigga. So did y'all have something similar to that?
Like I said, from the county of Los Angeles out, there are 88 cities in the county of Los Angeles. Everybody aligns themselves based on their city.
Okay.
So you have to, it's not even, that's not the kind of test that happens. You know, it's just different. I mean, I'm just telling you, man. I mean, I thought it was going to be one way and it was something completely different. Like I thought that people was getting raped all the time in prison and shit like that. And only to discover, man, you're not finna rape nobody from nobody goddamn neighborhood, nigga. You gonna die around this motherfucker, nigga. You better not think about,
you would die around this
for real, nigga. What the fuck is you talking about? That nigga from law, that nigga from such and such, that nigga from no, nigga, you finna die, nigga. The fuck? So, you know, I really didn't understand, but it's the neighborhood thing that keeps the people from doing too much. You know, you just can't do, you just can't do nothing to, you know, how you gonna, you know, do from Inglewood? What you think you finna do to a nigga from? No, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be repercussions and consequences. You know what I'm saying? For real, because they take that shit very, very seriously. They are real. It's like the whole idea. I didn't know that all bloods know how to fight. All bloods, you get into a fight with a blood head up, nigga, you better bring your hard hat and lunch pail because that motherfucker is used to fighting 3 and 4 motherfuckers at the same goddamn time in Los Angeles. So he's good. Everybody knows. You fight a bloodhead, blood be like, what, head up? What, head up fade? Oh, nigga, run that. For real. All bloods know how to fight. Oh, everybody knows that, right?
So how did you wind up getting into your first wreck? Like, how did you wind up getting to your first fight?
Man, I fucked around and took my jacket off, right? Because it seemed like the bigger you were, we had weights at the time, right? It seemed like the more swole you were, the more respect you got. So I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna put on 3 and 4 jackets. So I used to put on 3 and 4 jackets and walk around like I was real big and swole, so everybody would have respect for me, right? Because it seemed like the bigger you were, the more respect you had. But I fucked around and took all that shit off one time in front of the, you know, trying to hurry up and take a shower or some bullshit. And niggas saw how skinny I was up under that. I was about $1.60 or whatever the fuck it was, dripping wet. And the whole day room fell out laughing. They like, look at this little skinny motherfucker. Because one dude was like, hey, what's up, big homie? I was like, ooh, I like that. All right, little homie. I didn't know none of that shit, man. And I took that shit off, boy. Next day, you know, niggas was trying me, right? Yeah, hey, homie, hey, that job you just got, yeah, that's supposed to go to me, nigga. Yeah, I didn't like what you said about Big J the other day anyway, right? I'm like, oh, okay, well, I don't know what that means. I didn't even understand that my personal safety was in imminent danger, nigga. I didn't even know, man. Because they gave me a good clerk job, right? I was the clerk in the building. My door stay open. I get to come out and all that old good shit. And this nigga came up to my cell and peeked through the door with his gloves. And I didn't even know what that meant. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Come on in. That nigga came on in, all right. Boop, bop, boop, bop. And next thing you know, I was on the outside of my cell looking on the inside. Like, God damn. He was like, yeah, come back in here, nigga. Come back. I was like, oh, no, nigga. I'm not coming back up in there till you long gone, nigga. So finally, so he left. Listen to me. He left, and the next day, listen, Everybody stopped fucking with me that day. Man, listen, people wouldn't even look my way, man. They wouldn't even say hello to me no more, man. I looked in the mirror. I was like, oh, it's no problem, you know. I'll be all right. I slammed the door real hard though. My door don't need to be open like that. I don't need that luxury no more. But the next day, the nigga came back. And I took the ass whooping. I'm like, nigga, I don't give a fuck, right? I'm trying to go home, nigga. I'm not supposed to be here, no way, nigga. I'm a nice guy. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Nigga, I don't know what I was thinking. But the nigga came back the next day and put his foot, me and my only friend in the whole wide world, me and this dude, old man, he was doing a 90-day dry out, you know what I'm saying? Me and him was playing Scrabble. He was the only one that'd mess with me, only friend in the whole wide world. And this nigga come back and put his foot up on the thing with me and this dude playing Scrabble and pointed his finger in my face and said, yeah, nigga, I gave you a pass yesterday, but I heard you been talking about me. I'm finna get you good today, and smashed off. And when he smashed off, the dude, my only friend in the whole wide world, looked at me, looked up at the dude, and got up and said, man, you know what? I'm cool on you too. And he smashed off too. I'm like, nigga, you ain't got no friends either. Nigga, where the fuck you going, nigga? but he couldn't fuck with me. He was like, nigga, I'm good on you. And so I was sitting there, brother. Let me tell you, I was sitting there. I looked down at the board, and there was a word on the board, on the Scrabble board, and the word was run. Right? The word on the Scrabble board was run, but it wasn't nowhere to run for the first time in my life. Wasn't nowhere to run. And I remember something came over me at that moment, and I have not been the same since. I remember distinctly looking at the word run, and I remember saying to myself, oh, nah. Oh, no, no, no. So I went over there to where the dude was. I said, let's go, man. Let's go right now, man. And he was like, oh, okay. He was shocked. He was really shocked. And then the dude, Big J, was like, all right, homie, hey, you talking way too loud though, homeboy. Calm down. He'll be over there in a minute. He all hard, this big old swole motherfucker, right? This nigga was 25 years old with 22-inch arms. I'm like, God damn. But talking
the
about
one you about to fight?
No. Now this nigga was supposed to be a boxer, and he was the muscle of the crew, right? He the one go regulate whoever needed to be regulated and shit, right? And that was the one they sicked on me. And so he came over there, man, where the fight was supposed to be. And let me tell you something, man. You know how dudes be standing around talking shit and all that before they get to it. None of that shit happened, man. And then nigga came between about 8 feet, and I literally sprinted toward that motherfucker and went berserk on his bitch ass right there in the day room. So much so that Big J and them had to come help this motherfucker, right? So but it wasn't pretty or nothing, nigga. I was hitting this motherfucker with the back of my fist, the bottom of my fist, and some more shit, nigga. I was kicking this motherfucker. You goddamn right, nigga. I went berserk on this bitch. Now listen, eventually I got a little better with my style, but that fight right there was an ugly motherfucking fight. Listen, I went berserk on him so bad that he was against the wall looking back, talking about, hey, homie, hey, this motherfucker is crazy, homie. This nigga is crazy. That's what he was saying to his friends, and we was against the wall. The police put us on the wall. And I was frothing out the mouth, talking shit. Yeah, punk ass motherfucker. Well, he didn't even know that was my first fight I ever had in life, nigga. I ain't never had a fight, nigga. Hey, listen, that's why I know. Listen, that's why I tell people all the time. I learned that lesson. Nobody had to teach me that lesson, but I finally learned it. You never ever put the smash down on the motherfucker who's already bowing it down. You get into it with a motherfucker, he let you know he really don't want it. Guess what you got to do? You got to stop. That's right. Because the most dangerous man in the whole wide world is a scared, desperate, humiliated man who feels like he has no way out. That motherfucker go berserk and kill up some shit. You better let that man walk away with his head up. I'm trying to tell you some good shit. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you.
You say his homie jumped in to help?
Yeah, they came over there. And then I said, oh, it take 3 of y'all, huh? It take 3 of y'all, huh? Right. Well, that nigga Big J reminded me of that when I came back to the yard. He eased up on me. He said, hey, homie, I just want you to know something, though. It don't take no 3 motherfuckers to do nothing around here. I was like, oh, no, I was just saying, homie. I was just saying. I didn't want no problems, you know.
Hey, I'm back intelligent. Oh, no, I can't.
Yeah. So they brought us back. In those days, you get into a fight, they bring you right back 3 days. If both parties say we cool, they bring you right back. So they brought us right back, and it was interesting because while we was in the hole, my mama came to visit me, and that was her first visit, and it was very interesting because I was in chains, and everybody else was having a contact visit. She couldn't understand how come she couldn't touch me, and I said, she started crying, and I said, no, this is good, And because my mom used to get ran home all the time, my mama said, you know, you can't let these little boys run you in the house, nigga. Goddamn, you got to at least turn around when you get to your house and fight these little motherfuckers, right? But I used to get ran in the house.
All the
So
way in the house.
yes, and I had to lock the door at these motherfuckers, right? So my mama say, I said, no, don't cry, it's good, it's good. She said, what you mean it's good? I said, remember that time that little boy ran me in the house and you say, you know, I gotta turn around and fight. And she said, well, yeah. I said, well, this nigga was in my cell, talk about come back in here. And she said, well, what did you do? I said, I had to beat his motherfucker. And she said, oh, that's wonderful, and dried her tears right there in the goddamn visiting room. You showed, I'm trying to tell you, that's exactly
Good
what
shit,
happened.
I'm telling you.
Yes. So and so that was my first, but see, the word got back out to the yard that the only reason why I didn't want to fight this dude is because my mama was coming to visit. But that didn't have nothing to do with it. I was scared to death of this motherfucker. But yeah.
So how did the dynamic change after they know you'll go ahead and squad?
Yeah, well, after that, from that day forward, I completely changed. I welcomed it. I lost my fear of bloodshed. I lost my fear of violence. I remember I got so turned up that one time a guy said, "What's up?" to me, and I misinterpreted what kind of "what's up" it was. And I said, "Nigga, my cell door stay open all the time, nigga. What's happening? We can make it happen." He was like, "Word." I'm saying, you know, good morning to you, you know, because my name in the pen was Word. And he said, "Word, I'm saying good morning to you, bro. I'm saying what's up to you, man." And I'm like, "Oh man, brother, I'm so sorry, man. I'm on some bullshit, homie. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that, man. You know, I had to apologize to a dude, you know, because I got just so, you know, really, I lost all fear of because look, man, I'm telling you, man, a person could be driven over the top, man, for real. And even a person like me, who I was 26 years old, man, I never had a fight in my life, man. And next thing you know, but from that day forward, I became another man. And so it wasn't long before I was running that motherfucker for real.
Come
For
on.
real. I'm trying to
So
tell you.
did you ever at some point think, fuck it, I ain't never going home?
No, I never gave up hope. I just because I started learning a bunch of stuff and I started just becoming a very enlightened person. So I never believed that the Almighty would leave me in prison like that. I never believed it. I knew that at some point I would make it home. I never lost hope, even though a lot of people wasn't going home. I was on the same yard as Geronimo Pratt, right? Geronimo
Wow.
Pratt, yeah, came to my yard. Very interesting. You know, he had pictures of Tupac from in his cell from the time that Tupac was a small child. His mama, Tupac's mama, used to bring him to the penitentiary, and they would take pictures in the visiting room from the time that he was a small child. And Geronimo had them pictures in his cell, man.
Wow.
I'm trying to tell you. So he was a very interesting character. But you know, those guys wasn't going nowhere, man. Them dudes had been down from the 70s, man.
Right.
And they had 20 years in, and they had 7 to life. We had 15 and 25 to life, nigga. We was through. We knew it. We knew we wasn't going nowhere, man. And so we wasn't. We grew old with each other, man. We went from our 20s into our 40s, man. We saw each other grow older. You know, we was riding and everything. You should have seen us, man. We used to be having riots and all that old shit. Next thing you know, it kind of occurred to us over the years, man. Damn, nigga, we grown old together, man. I remember how's your mama and them? And man, shit, everything changed. I'm telling you, the revelations of mass incarceration would surprise you to see the changes that took place over the year. Look, let me tell you something. There was a time when a new dude come to the yard, the attitude was, I mean, who does this nigga think he is? Woo, all that, right? Well, it got to the point where these new dudes that was coming to the yard was old enough to be our kids and the kids of our friends. And it was a completely different thing. It was like, oh, hell no, we cannot have this. Teach these little niggas some shit and get their motherfucking ass up out of here so they never come back. And so it was a different attitude, you know, as time changed. 20 years into it, you know, we wasn't tripping on, you know, who we can, you know, the new dude on the yard, man, fuck that. He's somebody's child, man. He might be the homie's child, man. No, we can't have not another generation. We got 2 generations up in. No, we're not doing this. We're not doing this not one more day. So
That's
things
dope.
changed as time went on, man.
So how long would you say it took you to get acclimated to that lifestyle?
I remember a dude said to me, he said, "Oh, don't worry, man. After the first 5 years, the years just fly by." Right? I'm like, nigga, the first 5 years, I'm not trying to be here 5 more minutes, nigga. What the fuck? So, but yeah, it took about 5 years, man, before it just, you know, you just kind of like, look, lifers throw away calendars at the beginning of the year because they don't mean shit. A calendar, what is a calendar, man? We don't need a calendar, man. And so it was not that you lose track of time, it's that you get into a program and you look up and 5 and 10 years have gone by, man. You
Wow.
know, you're doing the same thing every day. I didn't even know it was possible to do the same thing every day till I went to the penitentiary. I didn't know the sun would cooperate with you every day. I didn't know, I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? A man can get up and do the same thing every day. I didn't miss not one man. I didn't have not one A day, man. I didn't miss not one day. I didn't call in not one day. Right? It wasn't no vacation or nothing, right? I didn't even know it was possible for a man to do no shit like that.
Boy.
So yeah.
So that first year, you still kind of like oddball about it. So it
Yeah.
takes up to about 5 years for you to just kind of settle in.
Yeah. Yeah. About 5 years in, I thought I was a G. I really wasn't a G. I thought I was though, but I was about like a C or a D or some old shit, nigga. But I wasn't no G. I thought I was more, down with the business than I was. They moved me to a different yard and I was like, oh shit, there's some different shit right here. But the first year was more about just learning what I could, what was right. People was giving me lessons. People could see that I was not supposed to be there. So let me tell you something that was interesting though. I took all that lessons and everything. I took them more seriously than the niggas that was supposed to be upholding that shit. I took that shit real seriously. Man. You can't even tell on yourself in the pen. I don't know if you know that or not, but you can't plead guilty to nothing. Nothing. You can't never tell. You can't even tell on yourself. Because the idea is that if you were telling yourself, you'll tell on me too, nigga. You bet not. You bet I wouldn't give a fuck the police catch you with the weed in your mouth, nigga. No, you didn't see that. Not guilty. I wouldn't give a fuck if they see us fighting. I knock you out right. But no, we was not fighting. We was horse playing. You cannot, none of that shit. And I took that shit real seriously, man. And, because I wanted to stay alive and I wanted to follow all the rules. Well, a dude told me when I first got there, he said, let me tell you something. Everything that you do here is going to follow you for the rest of your life. I'm telling you, that's what he said to me. He said, I'm letting you know now, everything that you do up in here is going to follow you for the rest of your life. And I took that shit very fucking serious. Very serious. I took the whole snitching thing very serious. I took the whole everything, the integrity, all that. I took that shit real serious. Far more serious than the people that were supposed to be. I was a square. And here I am, you know what I'm saying? But I knew how to keep it G right away. And I did that, And so, but it was only a matter of time before like I said, man, it's about the force of character, man. Man, listen, let me tell you something. There was a dude I was on the yard one time. This dude about 4'11", ran the whole yard. That's when I discovered, man, it ain't got nothing to do with how well you fight, how much money you got. No, it's the force of character. What manner of man are you? What manner of man are you? Really, when it comes, because we gonna see it. It's coming out, nigga. So, you might as well go in and keep it real, nigga. If you not that nigga, do not put, you know what I'm saying? Because we're gonna see. And you lose points for bitch ass shit. I didn't even know that, man. Listen, I didn't even know that when you get mad, you're supposed to be quiet. Nigga,
That
nobody
was
ever.
just to ask you about that.
Man, that blew my mind. Listen, you can't even frown. I remember this one dude got at this, and this dude was frowned all up like he was gonna do something or whatever. And the dude slid up on him and said, hey, homie, check it out. We need you to fix your face, homie. And he was like, no, I didn't even do nothing. He was like, no, homie, that's not the point. But if we can tell that you're mad, the police can tell that you're mad. The police can tell that you're mad. They're gonna be watching you. I'm over here trying to smoke a stick, nigga. That means you snitching, nigga. Right? And had to put this thing for real. Fix your face, nigga. Put a smile on your face, nigga. For
Fix
real.
your face, homie.
Oh, yeah. For real. I told her, let him know. Hey, homie, hey, we gonna need you to fix your face, homie. You wait. He said, you way too emotional for a man, homeboy. You way too. Man, I never saw no shit. Listen, man, I never knew that it was dudes who would come shake your hand with a smile and invite you to the fight. From my neighborhood, niggas was yelling out loud, nigga, I put that on, nigga. We can get it on right now, nigga. I don't even fucking all that old shit. Nah. You got one time to do some bitch ass shit like that on a real penitentiary yard. And I didn't know. I thought emotional was what we do. I thought get loud and jump up and down and slam shit is what we do. No, when you get a bunch of brothers together, you get a bunch of men together, a little bit of bitch ass shit stands out like a sore thumb. And nobody wants to be known for being in. I used to run the basketball league, right? Occasionally, a dude, dudes would square up against, with each other. On opposing teams would square up But I used to announce the games and everything with the mic. And all I would have to say on the mic, just get the dudes to calm down, is very emotional game out there. Lots of emotions out there right now. And as soon as I say that, them niggas will shake hands like, ooh, hell no, nigga. Because don't nobody want to be known for working with feelings in the penitentiary. You lose points.
I
You
got
lose points.
So that first 5 years, man, if you could share without being, into too much detail, what was some of the worst shit you seen in that first 5 years?
It really wasn't that bad, man. Well, look, I was on well, I remember I went to one yard. The yard was just so fucking violent, man. The homies told me don't go to that yard. I was 4 years in, man. I thought I was, I knew this penitentiary shit, right? But I didn't. And I didn't understand how there was different yards. It was same penitentiary, but the yards could be different. They'll put all the people who don't play well with others on the same yard. Right? They'll put all the fucked up people on the same yard, man. Get them, isolate them. So they had all these dudes on the same yard, and I volunteered to go to that yard because they had a trade that I needed, vocational eyewear, and that was a really good trade. And so I wanted to be there. And so the homies was like, "What you doing, man? You going?" He said, "Oh no, hell no, homie." He said, "You're not gonna make it over there." I said, "No, I'm gonna sidestep him with finesse like I've been doing." He said, "No, man, you're gonna sidestep a motherfucker over there and run into two more." He said, "You can't go, man. That's terrible, man. Nobody does. Nobody's volunteering because normally they'll move you over there under duress. They'll deliver your ass to that place." But one of the homies came out and said some slick shit. He said, "Yeah, homie. Yeah, you don't need to be over there though. See, you wouldn't be able to handle that shit right there because that's where the big boys hang out over there, nigga. You need to go in and transfer out, nigga. That's what you need to do." I was like, "You bitch ass nigga, I'm going over there next week, right?" So I transferred and went over there, right? And man, it was a trip. The police was supposed to deliver me over there. He said, "You're volunteering to go there?" I'm like, "Well, yeah." He said, "Why?" I said, "I got to get a trade, man." He's like, "Okay, look, I'm not even going to take you over there. I'm going to go give you a visual." He got on the mic and said, "Hey, here he come, right? Go ahead, man. Just go ahead." Right? And so I went over there and shit. I got to the other yard. He said, "Let me see your paperwork." He said, "Oh, yeah, you're the one, huh?" I'm like, "No, I'm not the one, nothing, man." He said, "Yeah, you're the one who volunteered to come over here." I said, "Well, yeah, man." He said, "Why?" I said, "Because I got to get a trade." And he did like this. "Hope you get your trade, guy, but there's your building over there." I'm like, "God damn, it can't be that bad." But the yard was shut down when I got there, and it looked really pretty. They had shrubs and little trees on the side. I was like, "Oh, this is beautiful. This is wonderful. It can't be that bad, right?" Shit. They opened up that yard. Listen, man, the yard was so violent that this is the thing about that yard. It wasn't that people was getting killed all the time. It was that the frequency of violence made people desensitized to violence. But if you're the kind of person that a violent act really means something, that's a significant thing. I saw a guy get knocked out today. Wow, well, you're going to see that a lot. So what happens is even the people who are nice, even the Christians, right? They'll be having Bible study and somebody get fucked up right next to them, and they'll look over at it and they'll look right back at the scripture and be like, "Now, what the Lord is showing us here is that we need to really focus in on this," and not even care. This motherfucker died, but you can't show that you draw any attention to this. You next, you know what I'm saying? So
damn it.
Oh yeah, you can't, "Hey, come give this guy some help." You can't do none of that. You got to ease right around that motherfucker, right? So everybody was desensitized. When I got to that yard, listen, man, I saw a fight that was so vicious that I had to go lock it up and get into bed and recover from a fight that I wasn't even in. I'm trying to tell you some good shit. I'm trying to tell you some good shit. I'm telling you. Hey, the fight was so cold, man. And it wasn't in the fight, it was the fight and then the scenario and everybody's reaction. Now, the police is supposed to break the fight up. They're supposed to say, "Get on the ground, get on the ground." All that old good shit, right? I read the rules, man. I know what the rules say. But when these two motherfuckers started fighting, the lead officer looked at everybody, including the other police, and said, "Everybody, get the fuck back. Back up, everybody." And I was like, "Ooh, that's against the rules, man. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to break this shit up," right? Now, as time went on, I came to respect that because I needed some fair ones. I needed to be able to go to the police and say, hey, me and this dude right here just need to get something off our chest right quick. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, for real. Because, the lingo is different, I'm going to tell you, man, the lingo is different because you have to, it's like a culture. It's like a penitentiary culture. It's like and so sometimes one time I was getting at this one youngster, he spent around on me. He said, and he was maybe about 5'3", right? Little dude, right? I'm 6'3". And this dude, I was trying to talk to him and shit, trying to, you know, lace him up on some proper shit or whatever. And this nigga spent around on me and said, "Hey, homie, I don't mean no disrespect or nothing like that, homie. But honestly, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. I could just be listening to you, but in my mind be thinking like, God damn, when is this motherfucker gonna shut the fuck up? But I got respect for you, so I ain't gonna say all that. So I'm just letting you know, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit." And spit right back around. I was like, God damn, this nigga was cold with it, right? I was 18, I was a G at that point. I went to the yard. I said, "Hey, homie, guess what happened to me today?" They said, "What?" I said, "A little nigga cussed me out." They said, "What? Who?" I said, "I'm finna show you right now." That little nigga came. I said, "That nigga right there." They fell out laughing, right?
So he was really with the shit. He bought his shit.
Yeah, but he didn't want to hear none of that shit. His homies finally shamed him to come, and he came over there a couple of on the weekend and sat next to me. I said, "Hey, man, what's going on?" He was like, "Hey, man, go ahead, man. What the fuck was you gonna say, man? But goddamn, why is you telling everybody that shit?" I said, "Nigga, that shit was hilarious, nigga." So, but you know, as time went on, he was very young, so I made it my mission as I grew older, you know, to really lace these youngsters, because they didn't have to go to therapy. We did. Those of us who were lifers, we had to go to all that damn therapy and sit with them therapists and everything else. But now here we got these young dudes here, and so our job was to translate these legitimate therapeutic principles and shit into the penitentiary, you know, lingo and the penitentiary language, so a motherfucker can know, you know. Like for instance, man, like codependency, right? Well, you can't share, you can't just talk about code. You got to call it bitch ass codependency.
Yeah.
That's how you get it across to a motherfucker. No, nigga, we don't do that, nigga. Why? Because that's bitch shit, homie. Bitch ass codependent ass bullshit, nigga. And motherfucker couldn't even do the shit if it wasn't for you. That kind of thing. So you know, you got to break it down, let a motherfucker see it in, like, you know, like in prison, like even dudes play chess, but the queen on the chessboard, she a bitch and a hoe and some more shit, really. You know, they talk bad. You know what I'm saying? Nobody checks nobody's language. That's like the people like, "Oh man, well, you should say this and you shouldn't talk like this." I'm like, nigga, the warden didn't even trip off my goddamn language, nigga. Exactly. The warden didn't even fuck with my speech, man. What the fuck is you?
I want to put your channel off in the chat. Tell it to me again so I can type it right now.
Russell the Magnificent.
RUSSELL.
Yes, and the Magnificent is one word.
THE.
Yes.
MAGNIFINI.
No, NIFI.
Hey, nigga, I dropped out in the night. Nah, give it to me.
NIFICENT.
Now give it to me again. MAG.
MAG. NIFI. CENT.
CENT. Okay. Man, you're gonna have to come back and hang out with me, my nigga.
Yeah, man. Yes.
I know you got some business to handle.
Absolutely, man. But man, it's been wonderful, man. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you, my brother.
Yeah. Hey, y'all go check my man out. He got a whole bunch of shit coming. This ain't gonna be the first and last time. My nigga coming back, and we're gonna get this shit popping. But I'm gonna be at you soon, man, and I appreciate your time, dog.
For sure, my brother. For sure. And thank you, man.
It's nothing, man. Stay up.
For sure, my brother.
All right, brother.